Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. I hope you all are doing well, being in school and following all the SOPs. Following the SOPs is not only important for you, your safety, but equally important for people around us, around you. So be a responsible citizen and take care of yourself and your surroundings. So, my boys and girls, today we are having the last video class of the chapter Forest. Next week, we will continue with a new chapter. This is something great that in the video lessons through our virtual classes, we have completed 2 chapters. Wow, that's a big achievement. It's very important to be happy at all times. And the best way to cheer yourself up is to try to cheer somebody else. Giving happiness makes you double happier. Helping someone is actually helping your own self. And while you are helping someone, don't expect anything in return. Be selfless. Spread happiness. Spread positivity. And believe me, your life will be full of happiness. You will learn to find happiness in small things. It doesn't need to be something really big. The happiness can only be as simple as the electricity resumed. Light went off and then it comes back. And if it comes back before the expected hour, wow, that's the happiness. So the happiness can be very simple. Having your favorite chocolate is happiness. So let's look for happiness around us in small things and share the happiness with others. Let's quickly recap what we did in the last class. We learned that timber is used for constructing buildings, furnitures, and making boxes and agricultural implements. Further, we learned that another minor product of forest is resin, which is used in making varnishes. Terracing is a way of increasing the cultivation land on the mountains. Contour plowing is done on hillsides, which reduces soil erosion. And further, we learned that through strip farming, we can grow more than 1 or 2 crops. Now let's move on with the topic of the day. Today's topic is something which is close to our hearts, close to our souls, and that is deforestation. Why do we feel that deforestation is close to our hearts? Because we are one of the victims or the affectees of deforestation. In fact, all of us are affected by deforestation. So today we are going to learn that why the trees are chopped down. Then we learn what are the effects. And finally, we are going to look for the solutions of deforestation. So our objective for the day will be that you will be able to comprehend the concepts of deforestation, afforestation, and reforestation. Then we will further learn how the causes and effects of deforestation are. You will be able to analyze the solutions to minimize or control the effects of deforestation. And then finally, in the end, we will learn, you will be able to describe that what are different afforestation projects in Pakistan and how are they working. In many parts, in many projects, in different fields, we are working at par with international standards. And afforestation is one of those. The project has been recently taken up and is successfully going on. We have achieved our target for the year 2020. My dear students, I hope you all are sitting with your books, booklets, and pens, pencils. Note down the pointers. Discuss them in the class with your teachers and work and do the self-practice work. Now let's move on. Deforestation. Deforestation is a very simple phenomena where the trees are simply chopped down. Now the trees are chopped down in different ways. Simply at times the stems are cut. Now if you see in this picture, the roots are there, but the branches and the stems have been removed. In this picture, the tree has been uprooted. That is, from the root in the ground, it has been completely removed. Why is this done? Deforestation, in certain cases, is done simply clearing the entire land, clearing the entire area. And in certain cases, selected trees are chopped down. The trees which might be needed for construction purposes or for making furniture or simply for fuel. So some selected trees are chopped. But in many reasons, in many cases, it is random chopping. Randomly, the entire area is chopped down. So the trees can be cut down for fuel, for construction, for making roads, expanding the cities, for mining, or for even infrastructure. So now let's have a detailed look at the causes of deforestation. We all know that the land of forest is very, very fertile. This can be an ideal location for the crops to be grown. In some areas, to meet the food requirement of the growing population, they cut down trees and use that land for growing food. Along with that, in certain areas under the land of these forests, many valuable minerals are found. In order to utilize those minerals, the trees can be chopped down for mining activities. Mining is to take out minerals from the ground. To reach the minerals, the trees are first chopped down. The area is cleared. Along with that, there's a long list of goods which are made up of wood and are needed in our everyday life. It may include the sports goods such as baseball bat, rackets, cricket bat, hockey stick. They all are made up of wood, and this wood is definitely coming from the forest. Boats are made up of wood. Along with that, many of our furnitures are using wood to be made. Matchsticks, simple thing in the kitchen. Matchstick, it is made up of wood, and obviously we have to cut down trees for that. We need to make papers. To make paper, we cut trees, turn them, use their pulp, and make the paper out of it. So there's a large domestic and foreign market for wood-based products. And for that, the trees are chopped down. Then, overgrazing of land. We all know that the cattle, goats, sheep, they all are taken into an open area where they graze. They feed on the grass or the small herbs and shrubs which are growing in that region. These animals, if you have ever noticed, maybe in Bakra Eid, you might have noticed that when the cattle or the goats and sheep, they eat grass, they nibble the grass. With their hooves, they are continuously scratching the ground. In this way, they actually remove the fertile layer of soil. The area turned out to be deforested and deserted. Along with that, the cities are expanding. There's a rise in population. Now, when there are more people, more space required to live. So, the trees, the forests are chopped down and the land is used in making cities. Many of the cities which were made started near the forest. While their expansion projects were going on, the neighboring area's land, forest, were removed and they were taken in the city, and the settlement was made, buildings were made, and houses were made. So another reason is the expansion of settlements. Then many places in our country don't have gas supply. Natural gas is not supplied in many parts of the country. Mostly, this is in the mountainous region. Over there, people are cutting down trees to use them as firewood for cooking purposes. Along with that, while making roads or bridges, we have to remove trees to make a concrete path for the construction of infrastructure. Along with that, these were the causes that why deforestation is taking place. Trees are chopped down for wood. Trees are chopped down to clear the area for growing crops, for mining purposes, for making infrastructure, for making wood-based products such as matchsticks, furnitures, cricket bats, rackets, matchsticks, and so many more things. Now, when we are cutting them down, when we are removing the trees which are actually securing the land, now what are the effects of deforestation on us, on our environment? They are called ecological effects, that how the entire system, the entire ecology is getting affected. Now, as the trees are removed, there are no roots to hold the soil. The branches, canopy, and leaves, they intercept the rain. Intercept mean they filter the rain. They reduce down the speed of water coming down. As a result, the land secures against the surface runoff. Along with that, if we will continue with the deforestation at the same pace, we will run short of wood for fuel. After that, the land will be exposed to the rainwater or the river water which flows, and surface runoff. Surface runoff is the removal of top fertile layer with water. As there will be less rain, because of less transpiration, we might face water shortage. The exposed soil, land, the silt and the sand will blow away with wind and settle down in rivers. As a result, the base of the river, the bed of the river start to rise. Take an example. A glass of water half filled. Now start adding soil in that glass. What will happen? Slowly and gradually, the level of water in the glass will start to rise. And if you will continue to add, it will overflow. Same happens in the case of rivers. If the soil or sand continues to settle in the river bed, slowly and gradually, the level of water will increase, and as a result, it will flood the nearby area. It will overflow. When the trees are removed, as we learned that the roots are actually holding the soil together. In the mountainous regions, when we chop down the trees, the land is at the risk of landsliding. What is landsliding? the falling down of rocks or the piece of land from the mountains, usually due to rainfall. So, as the trees are not there to hold the soil back, they can easily slip down. This landsliding is very dangerous. It may kill people, it may cause accidents, it will block the roads, and as a huge piece of land might have slipped down, it may result in the blockage of roads which might take days to be removed. This affects tourism as well. Along with this, due to deforestation, if you remember, when we did the importance of forest, we learned that it is very popular tourism spot, picnic spot. Now, when the trees are removed, the area starts to lose its beauty. The tourism may get reduced. Many people who were working in the forest may lose their jobs. Many of the people who were working in the wood-based industry might lose their jobs due to the lack of wood and no further production going on in the factory. Besides this, many of the animals might die. They may get extinct as they have lost their habitats. Habitats are the place where they live. And beyond all, one of the most dangerous effects of deforestation is that trees are the natural recycler of air. Now, when there will be less trees, means less carbon dioxide will be taken in and the level of oxygen will also be reduced. This will affect all of us directly or indirectly. So if in short, we look at the ecological effects of deforestation, number one, loss of traditional culture. Many of the tribes are still living in the forest. Loss of species, as we just discussed, that many animals may get extinct and they may die due to no proper habitat for them. Loss of forest products, obviously, when the forests are not going to be there, then timber, resin, masonry, etc., all that which we discussed in the previous class will also not be available. The quality of air which we all breathe in will also go from bad to worse. Level of carbon dioxide will increase and the level of oxygen will reduce. Fuel wood will not be available for the people to cook their food. As a result of soil erosion, many of the areas will start to turn desert. Desertification will take place. Due to no covering of trees, the groundwater will also evaporate, leaving the land dry with cracks. This may cause scarcity of drinking water, shortage of drinking water. Landsliding may cause accidents. So eventually, just one simple act of chopping down the trees have such humongous, huge effects on us, on animals, on our environment. Now, what shall we do? We just cannot let the things be the way they are. We, as human beings, need to find solutions. There are some solutions. Simple solution. If you are cutting down one tree, make sure that you grow 2 trees to replace it. And this is the international law as well, that chopping off one tree should be replaced by planting 2 more trees. Along with that, what other things can be done? We should try to grow more and more man-made forest, especially in the areas where the water can easily be supplied. The trees which grow rapidly should be grown so that the covered forested area can be maintained. The land in the forest should be reserved for the fuel wood. The forest should be divided into different parts, and in one part, an activity should take place while the rest of the areas should be left in order to regrow. Awareness should be created among the people regarding the importance of forest, that chopping down the forest may have harmful effect on them as well. We should use the techniques of raising nurseries, planting more trees on deforested land, and we should try to follow reforestation and afforestation. Logging companies should follow selective cutting. Now, how is selective cutting different from random cutting? In random cutting, those trees are also chopped down which are not needed. They are simply clearing the area. In selective cutting, only those trees are chopped down which are needed. So instead of wasting the trees, let's do or focus on selective cutting. We should not allow the huge machineries to be taken in the forest because the bulldozers and the heavy machines destruct the forest land. Strict enforcement of forest laws. Urban forestry programs include the planting of trees in the cities. Should have more parks, gardens, more trees should be grown on the roadsides and on the railway stations, and wherever the open space is left should be utilized for growing crops. You and me should also grow small plants in our terraces, balconies, or lawns. It's important to increase the green areas in our city. Reforestation and afforestation. Reforestation is a process which is done or to grow trees on the land which was a forest earlier. Growing trees on a deforested land. Afforestation is to grow trees on a land which was not forest earlier. This can be done in the areas which are close to the rivers, its tributaries, and canals. Pakistan has taken up very important projects of afforestation. Tarbela Mangla Watershed Management. This is one of the most important projects. They are the areas near Tarbela and Mangla Dam. Why is it important to grow trees in the nearby areas? To control flooding, to conserve soil against erosion. Better agricultural system, sustainable agricultural system can be developed in that area. Along with normal fast-growing trees, we can establish orchards over there. Fruit-growing plants can be grown in these regions. Along with that, in Baltistan area, Baltistan Agency, which is towards the north of Pakistan, in Gilgit area, there is a project which has been taken up known as AKRSP, Aga Khan Rural Sustainable Program, and the Rachna Doab Afforestation Project. They both have started a mega project of growing trees in these areas. 830,000 trees have been successfully planted in these regions. This is an international project which has been taken up by Pakistan as well. Every year there is a target to be met, and we are on the right track. Let's quickly review our learning for the day. Number one, we learned that both deforestation and afforestation affect ecological system. Deforestation affects it negatively. Afforestation has positive effects on the environment. Deforestation may result in siltation, that is, the silt may start settling down in the dams, which will reduce the capacity of the dam, and flooding may become common. 76% of the rural population depends on the wood for heating and cooking purposes, and this leads to deforestation. Logging companies should cut selected trees and reduce deforestation. Thank you so much for being attentive listeners. Answer this question in your comment box of Google Classroom. AKRSP is an abbreviation of dash. Write down the full form of AKRSP. Let's take care of our environment. Let's take care of our forest, grow more trees, and keep our environment healthy. Next week, we are going to start off with next chapter. Thank you so much. Stay safe. Take care of yourself. See you next week. Allah Hafiz.